Are you ready to create a life you crave? Let's spin that doom loop of negativity into an upward success cycle and start living lucky. Good morning. I'm Jana.
I'm Jason.
And we are living lucky. I hope you are too. We are continuing our conversation about coherence healings because Jason and I had the opportunity to take part in 3 coherence healings, and it was really life-changing.
Yeah, it's funny that even just bringing it up,
yes,
sends this wave through my body. I mean, it's like
energy.
Yeah, it's weird because it kind of bounces. It starts in my, I feel it
You're
move
pointing
out
to your heart.
Yeah, it moves. So as soon as you said we're talking about coherent healing, I literally felt this wave ripple out from the center of my chest down to my fingers,
right,
and then back up, shoot up to my brain, and then down to my toes.
Down to my toes.
It was so crazy, and I've still got goosebumps
my
from
feelings make me shout out, make me shout out.
I don't know that song. That's the first song that I didn't recognize.
I think I just made it up. That's why.
I love it.
You gotta be sharp. You gotta be willing to just go with the flow.
I'm ready to go. I think we'll be sitting at the piano for the rest of the day making a new song.
So let me just continue with the science behind all this because we don't understand it. So let me try to explain it.
Right. Well, I was thinking about that because a lot of people will naysay or poo-poo coherent healing.
Yeah.
It's like,
but until you experience it,
well,
I mean, there was something in that room. There was something in that room. And if you don't believe me, have you ever been around somebody that you go to a party and you're like, I don't know, they just had bad mojo. I don't know what it was about them.
I don't know what it is about my boss, but he's got bad mojo.
I thought you were going to say your balls.
I don't know what it is about my balls.
Your balls.
They wobble to and fro.
Your balls don't have bad mojo.
No,
let's don't put that out there.
I love it.
No, have you ever been around somebody and you're like, they're just kind of an energy vampire? Oh, you've heard that term before. You definitely
know who the energy vampires are because you go hang out with them. You're like, so-and-so's not coming to the party, right?
Yeah, there's just some people where you're like,
they always bring us down.
Yeah. They're usually named Debbie.
Oh, no. Sorry, Debbie.
Sorry, Debbie. Because they're downers, right?
Well, yes, that's a good alliteration.
Am I just saying
that?
No,
it's so true. Well, a lot of people...
But if that is true, then the converse is also true.
Yes.
Am I right or am I right?
You got to put on your Converse and run to the other side.
No. We're not talking about Converse shoes. Although Converse shoes has been coming up in my reticular activating system.
And it's got a star on it. I think.
Let's don't get squirreled off here. Let's not get squirreled off. What I'm trying to say is the converse is also true in that if energy can bring us down, then energy can also lift us up.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever been in a state where you're like, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I really don't want to write this paper. And then all of a sudden you turn on the Trolls soundtrack. I got this feeling inside my hole. On an electric and you get up and you just dance full out for 60 seconds. And when you do yeah, or if you're Jason and I, you do it for 5 minutes. Oh. And when you do that, you dance around the kitchen island for a little bit. All of a sudden, you're like, wow, I really feel like I am in a much better state.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even on a very basic level, if you're not the kind that's going to get a dance party going on in your kitchen or in your living room by yourself or with your spouse or with your family, when you feel bad, sometimes you call a friend wanting them to pick you up. And it's really, we use other people's energy all the time. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we don't use it effectively. And I think these people, or a lot of people that naysay, because I was a naysayer, I'm sure, at some point about coherent healing. I hadn't seen it. And I feel like it's the same people that wouldn't get on an airplane because they're like, there's no way that thing should fly.
Right.
Until they saw enough people doing it, until they got visual proof and actual proof that it was working, it's safe, and this is a faster way to an endpoint. And coherent healing, it makes sense, especially when you get the science behind it. Now they have all these instruments that actually just show you the electromagnetic field around bodies and the way energy flows.
Oh, yeah.
All this stuff. It's incredible.
Do you remember when we went to that festival that one time and they had these special cameras and they were like, do you want your aura picture? Yeah. And I was like, my what? And they said, yeah, your aura picture. And I was like, okay.
We're going to put a rainbow filter around you.
So we literally paid. They probably charged us like $16 and we fell for it. This was like 10 years ago to go into this booth and they took our picture and then they literally put a rainbow filter around our heads.
These people don't have Instagram yet.
And then we got to see the colors of our energy. Yours was kind of a blue, if I remember right. Yeah. And mine was like full out pink and orange.
Mine had blues, pinks, and greens.
Yes. And this was right before my depression. So yeah, you're right. It probably was a scam. But anyway, they got our money and it was very interesting.
But it's true though. There is, you can feel you can feel heat coming off your body. Heat is energy.
Yeah, you're right.
Lay next to your spouse in the middle of the night.
I've already bought into this, so you don't have to convince me.
I'm just for the value of our listeners that might be saying, I don't know about that.
So what I'm saying is during these coherence healings, it's very, very crazy because people are laying on the ground, and like I said, 1,400 people come in. They rub their hands together. Okay, so we get the energy going. And then all of a sudden we've got energy, which you can feel between your hands, right?
And that's coming from your heart and brain connection, straight out down your arms through your heart energy center into your hands.
And then you slowly turn them toward the person that needs healing. Now, when you do this, the person that's on the ground that needs healing, sometimes they start convulsing. Sometimes they start doing crazy things on the floor. Sometimes they start yelling and screaming, and sometimes they start bouncing up and down and literally almost seizure-like movements.
And sometimes, for the converse, they go into a very deep state of calm, love, peace. And that's something that they haven't had before.
And here's the thing is sometimes not only if you're a healer or a person that's being healed, everyone can feel it and everyone is benefiting from it. So it doesn't matter which position you're in, as long as you're in the room, you are getting the benefits.
One of the big things for me was I don't know the name of the machine, but the randomizer machine.
Oh yeah, so there's the science. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this machine measures zeros and ones basically, and it's random. It's a random thing. So you're going to get 50% zeros, 50% ones. But when we come in to do the coherent healing, the energy in the room changes this random machine that's programmed to do random calculations from zeros and ones, and the energy pulls it all up to the ones. And it's a constant rise in ones. It's ones across the board throughout the whole healing, and then continues on after the healing while the energy is still lingering, and then goes right back to the zeros and ones. And then they had, I think it's called a Fibonacci blanket over it, so it blocks out. It might not have been else, but a Faraday cage.
I'm not sure what a Fibonacci blanket.
I think a couple terms mixed up, but a Faraday cage that blocks out any electromagnetic fields. Okay. And they had another one in there that had a Faraday cage around it, and it stayed random. Oh. So that was a proof that when you block out the electromagnetic energy from us creating it,
right,
that we are changing matter in the environment. So we have the ability to change matter in the environment, which is changing the 3D world from our intellectual, spiritual space.
When he says Faraday cage, Faraday is a type of fabric that energy cannot travel through. So that's what a Faraday cage is. Anyway, so the results that have come from this, people who have gone through this, now sometimes there's no results at all. Sometimes the results take months, years to come to fruition. Sometimes they're immediate. Sometimes blind people will all of a sudden see. Sometimes deaf people will all of a sudden hear a pop and then get their hearing back. Sometimes people with autism will come in, and, parents who have kids with severe autism will say, my child has never spoken in sentences before, and after these coherence healings, all of a sudden are speaking in sentences.
Yeah, they're hugging me, they're looking me in the eye,
and it's literally
being around people,
tuning into an energy. It's a healing energy. So I know before, as we were starting this podcast, we started talking about, dancing energy is a different energy. That's an energy that gets you uplifted and brings you in a different state of excitement and joy, which, yes, energy is energy, but this is, you're tuning into a specific type of energy, and it's healing energy. And if you can get everyone in the room on the same frequency, then you tap into something that is really miraculous. It really is miraculous, and you can feel it.
Frequency is a key word there, because a lot of times, and that's why intention for the day is very big, because you're kind of setting your frequency of where am I going to what frequency am I operating in today? Am I mediocre? Like, are my wavelengths flat or just barely oscillating? Am I low? Am I low frequency? Or am I up here in the love, peace, enthusiasm, optimism frequency? Mm-hmm. And the higher the frequency, the more possibility.
The closer to source.
Yeah.
The higher the frequency, the closer to source. And when we say source, we're really talking about God. We're talking about the infinite intelligence. We're talking about this awesome that is...
It brings order to the system.
It really does. You look outside and you can't help but go, That's what the universe, that's what the cosmos does for me. You look outside and you just go, At any rate, if you have a chance to get involved with a coherence healing, I highly suggest it. I am definitely joining a group because it has been life-changing for me. I felt the energy in the room, and as Jason said, just talking about it, I can feel my energy rising now.
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
There is residual effects.
Yeah, and it does something for really your entire belief system about what it moves the line between possible and impossible, mm-hmm. and creates more possibility in life.
Ooh, which I'm all about. Let's be all about the possibilities. Thanks for joining us today. Oh, do we have some really exciting things coming up. So you're going to want to make sure that you stay tuned every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I know you are living lucky. Bye-bye. If the idea of living lucky appeals to you, visit us at startlivinglucky.com.